If you are someone like me who gets really frustrated when I hear that, women are emotional and men are logical, as if that somehow makes women inferior because we don't work primarily on logic, I need to read you this excerpt from High Ceilings by Brett Fuller. It's about women in leadership, and it's just really great. He preached at our church a couple of weeks ago. Phenomenal. Bought his book. Anyway, I think this speaks perfectly to what I've been wanting to say all along. First, I could find nothing in scripture that confirms the innate weakness of the female gender, obviously ignoring the differences in physical stature, but that's not the focus of Peter's comment, talking about from 1 Peter 3:1-7. By God's admission, Adam was the one who needed help, not Eve. And God's assistance for him was a woman. Another thought to ponder: would God's best idea of giving Adam help, Eve, be the person who would need more help than she could provide? And of course, there's 1,000 ways to look at this, but the one thing that I think is critically important is that the man, who was working primarily off of logic, did not have the full scope of understanding and needed the woman's understanding, where she worked on more of a primarily emotional basis, in order to be able to have the complete picture. And only then were you going to be able to reflect the full character of God. Now, of course, this is talking primarily about church leadership and the fact that women need to be in leadership within the church as well. Otherwise, you're not reflecting the full character of God. You're going to be missing things within the leadership structure, because it's critically important to understand that it's not just men who are created to lead. I think we can see that very, very easily in Proverbs 31, because in Proverbs 31, the woman in Proverbs 31, she's buying and selling land. She's running a business. She's running a team of people. She's also running her home. She's literally throwing everything that the culture says to her you can't do in their face and doing it. It's like she didn't want to change the culture by going and actually changing the culture. She just wanted to change the culture by doing it, and she did. Which I think is a fact that's way too overlooked, especially in some denominations that kind of try to make women, small, which is completely unfair and ridiculous and not biblical. The greater picture to me is that we were created because there was a deficit. Like, there wasn't the fullness. So, like, this idea that logic somehow supersedes emotionalism is preposterous. Because if that were so, logic alone should have been able to float without needing its counterpart in emotion. I think a great reflection on that is where research has gone in the understanding of that in the moment when somebody's traumatized, they work primarily on logic, how to be able to escape the situation, how to be able to dispel it. But if they don't deal with the emotions after the fact, that's when they get sick. It's basically what the entire book about The Body Keeps Score talks about, is how those emotions will get locked in our bodies if we don't feel them. That's what happens when we work only on logic. The need for both to be represented is critical, and then you will have the full reflected character of God. Oh, there's so much more to unpack there, but that just sit and marinate on that for a little bit.